chairman told me last week when I told him I wanted to have this meeting. He told me that would be the first time in the history of the sector that the minister in charge of this sector is meeting with the sector. That it has not happened last time. I thought it's good because it's important that we organize this sector. There are serious challenges we have. There are also maybe opportunities, but if we operate in a manner that is not organized, we're not likely to realize our objectives. And so I'm grateful to meet all of you, fellow citizens of our country and colleagues in this sector. I have had a meeting already with the board and the senior management of the team. We've discussed a number of things and agreed on what we need to do. And thank you so much for the three of you who spoke. The reality of this life is that we lead people, and we have to listen to those we lead and take decisions together. That's why I prefer that we listen to you, we raise your issues, we discuss them, and find solutions and find out a way of organizing the sector. So I must start first of all by saying I have heard you loud and clear. For starts, we are going to have for the first time a betting policy in the country, and we have drafted a gaming bill that we would like to take to Parliament. But before those documents see the light of day, I would like the sector to contribute to them. And therefore, I am instructing the chair and the board. We will be selecting a team from the sector who will sit with the management and the board and go through these documents, go through this policy effectively, and go through this new gaming bill that we are taking to Parliament, so that we can address some of the issues you are raising. And I hope you understand that we will be consulting each other. It will not be us walking into the room to take your views or you taking our views. We will be consulting each other. There are certain things that are critical to us as government that you have to understand. We cannot go your way totally, and we don't expect that you will go our way totally, because that way then we are not going to regulate the sector effectively. We will take some of your views, but most importantly, you will also understand that we have very strong views about some of these things that you need to factor in. Secondly, I know and I recognize the contribution that this sector has made, especially the Kenya Charity Sweepstake, to the development of the country. I would be dishonest to say that the sector hasn't made any contribution. But I also have to be a responsible leader and tell you this. We would be lying to you if we did not point out one thing, that the betting, licensing and control regime in our country must change. And the first news I must break to you this morning is this: we are going to turn it inside out. We have to change this thing. And I will shortly give you statistics to demonstrate to you why, as government, we are concerned. We have the unfortunate situation where we in Kenya are leading on this continent on the population of our young people who are involved in betting. 76% of our young people, 76% of our young people are involved in one form of betting or the other. Some of you here are parents and family people. What are we raising our children to do? What kind of country are we building? Are we raising our children and telling them, just do nothing with your life, just go around betting and become a millionaire and live well? Is that the kind of thing that we are telling our country and our children? And then you have the statistics, check the figures. What even saddens me is that when you look at the betting regime in the country, and the figures are here, the board is here with you, 54% of those who are actively involved in betting are all from the low-income earning bracket. Is that something we need to live with as responsible people in this society? And even more saddening, and this is something I have to be very honest with the public, even more saddening, we have been looking at figures here with the board. We have about 500,000 of our young people now who have been blacklisted by some of the lending agencies, 500,000, because they borrowed but cannot pay. And many of them borrowed for betting, as it were. This is a sector we must regulate. And I want to be very frank with you. We are prepared to face whatever consequences there may be to ensure that this sector is regulated effectively. We cannot have this situation in our country. We can't. We have to sort this out. I have this morning instructed the chair of the board to immediately convene a meeting with the Communications Authority of Kenya and review the advertising regime of some of these bets and the betting environment. As far as I'm concerned, actually, I can't take a decision for the Communications Authority of Kenya because it's an independent regulator in the sector, but I'm going to have a conversation with my colleague, the Cabinet Secretary for ICT. Some of the offshore agencies that are advertising in our media, if they are not followed properly and this is not done, the media houses involved should be called to account. That's really what should happen in this case. We must create order. We can't live in this kind of society. I have equally asked the board this morning that within the next 30 days, they give me a status report on the betting in the country, complete with annotation, profiling the agencies that are involved in this and so on. And I've instructed the PS in charge of immigration and the Director General of Immigration Services to be involved to ensure that everyone who's involved in this exercise, especially those who are not citizens of our country, are properly documented and they're in the country properly and they have the right papers to be in our country. Where they are not, the law should take its course immediately and we should call them to account. We cannot run a sector where we are supporting indirectly money laundering in some kind of disguised way where it looks like we're doing the right thing. But my brothers and sisters, I do not know of a country anywhere in the world that has developed as a result of gambling and betting. Last year alone, this sector, the revenue in this sector alone was about 202 billion. Never mind that what came in form of taxes is 4 billion or 5 billion, but the revenue was, in that region, the movement of funds, as people who love their country, and I'm talking particularly to the Kenyans in the room, as people who love their country, how would we like to operate? So we go forward on this matter. Let's be serious about these things. And consequently, I have asked the board this morning, no license. Mr. Chairman, tumekubaliana, no license will be renewed to anybody who has not paid their taxes. No license. So effective 1st of July, all licenses stand cancelled except for those who would have complied and paid their taxes. Effective 1st of July, all betting licenses in the country stand suspended unless the holders have paid all their taxes. And under Cap 31, you have the responsibility as the board to ensure that the taxes are paid. So, tafadhali mimi sitaki ujeuri ule ya kawaida kuleta tax compliance certificate. Hapana, there must be evidence that tax has been paid. So effective 1st of July this year, where there is no evidence that taxes have been paid to the single coin, those licenses stand suspended. That's it. They have no license. That's as simple as that. They will have no license. No one has a license to operate in the betting sector from 1st of July this year unless they have paid their taxes and they have complied. Then you will be renewed. So you have between now and the end of June to ensure that all your taxes are paid before you talk to the board. And board, this is a serious issue. It's a security matter. You've heard what our peers have said. Number of suicide cases we have in the country. The number of challenges we are facing. We actually, if we are not careful, we will end up looking like an irresponsible government. That we have, let our sector run amok. Everyone is advertising whatever they please. You participate in whatever you do. That's why, Chair, you must have that meeting with the Communications Authority of Kenya immediately. Because they have certain powers within their own licensing regime to superintend over even some of this advertising. We can't let our country go like this. We can't. And that said, though, I agree with what my dear sister said. There are people who are in this sector because they are, genuine, they're trying to do genuine business, provide entertainment, and so on and so forth. We have a responsibility to you too. You should actually feel that you have a government that protects you. Because when you pay the license fees, you operate a business in Kenya, you actually have a right to be protected. It's not a favor I am doing to you. It is my duty as your minister to protect you, to ensure that your business or whatever you have paid a license to do, you do it. And for those of you who are doing this, I am going to intensify this exercise. After the 30 days that I've given the board, I want to have another meeting with the sector. Myself, just sit down with you, and I propose we have an offsite meeting which gives us more time. I don't mind putting out a half a day. We sit down with you, we can go out to safari parks and place and sit there. And I listen to all your views and so on. We go through these issues. And I hope that by that time we'll have got the draft policy we have, you have gotten the draft bill that we want to take to Parliament. I do not want anyone to complain about public participation. Read this policy inside out. Read the bill that we want to take to Parliament. Have your own views about it. When we meet, give me your views. I will sit there, I will request the Honorable Attorney General to give me one of his senior people. We sit down together so that we listen to each other, because we are in this country together and we will move forward together. I will be happy to sit down with you. But these other issues that we are talking about in terms of regulation and everything, we have to be honest with one another. And I don't think it's fair for us to pretend that we don't have some of these issues and so on.